So my earliest memories, I would place them between 6 and 7 years old. Um, and believe it or not, they're memories from church. I grew up in a small church, a family church, where my father was the pastor. Now, the funny thing about that is, I consider myself to be a pastor's kid, but even the way in which that happened was such an act of God. It was God ordained, because my father wasn't actually a pastor. He was a substitute pastor or an interim pastor. My uncle, his older brother, was actually the pastor of the church I grew up in, called Living Word Fellowship, in Lima, Ohio. But due to some reasons, my uncle ended up having to take about a 7 to 10 year stint off, and so my father, his younger brother, ended up filling in for him and taking over the pastoral role of that church. We had at any given time between 30 to 70 attendees at that church, most of them being my family, my cousins, second, third cousins, some other families with large amounts of children. I don't think there was a family in that church who had less than 5 kids in the family, and most probably had 8+. Just to go back a little bit, so this is right around the time that I was coming into or experiencing adolescence, or like I said, around 6 or 7, or young childhood. And right around the time that a young man or a boy starts to set a course for one's life. And I remember looking up to my father and remember saying, I want to be like my dad. He was and is my hero. I remember him just being the epitome of what a man should be. A man who stays with his family, a man who raises his children, a strong man who works, who instills morals and values and discipline into his children's lives. And I was an unruly child, to say the least. So I remember wanting to be like my dad, and I remember at an early age, my father and my uncle and some of the other elders in the church recognizing the gift or the calling on my life of pastoralship or of leadership, and laying hands on me and speaking into my life. Again, this is around 7 years old. And then later on, around, let's say 12 or 13, I can't pinpoint the exact age, but I remember the pastor, my uncle, after his return, asking me in the middle of church, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I remember saying with my mouth, I remember standing up and saying, I want to be a preacher. I remember how true and real and good that felt to say it. I remember from a young age knowing that this is what I want to do. This is what I'm called to do. This is my purpose. And the Word of God says that out of the abundance of the heart does the mouth speak. I remember the trueness, curiosity, the truth of what I said, that I want to be a preacher. I want to be a minister of the word. It's amazing how God brought that all into being, because again, I wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to be like the man I saw in the pulpit. Had that been my uncle at that time in my life, that may not have been the course that I would plot, but because it was my dad up there, I wanted to be like my dad. And so even that break, even that hiatus that my uncle took, and my father was able to step into that role at that time, is what led me to the path I'm on now. It's amazing how